I believe we are live. Man, I do not feel good at all today. So, for tonight's stream, I'm not gonna really do anything productive other than setting up my brushes in Krita here, because I believe, well, it's not it's less of me believing and more so that it is actually a pain in the ass to use all these brushes and them being all over the place, and they're not fully tweaked to my liking. So in this stream I'm just gonna relax a little and focus on setting up all these brushes and pens. Also, I'm alone tonight because my friend won't be able to join me. Something power outage. I mean, it's normal, I guess. It's normal from time to time to have a power outage, especially if you're living in a really secluded area. But I don't know. It's just the fact that the power outage will get very frequent, and sometimes it genuinely fucks with, you know, your day-to-day life. I mean, I guess I'm acting as if you know, streaming is a necessity. Not really. I mean, when you're an artist, you're streaming less because you want to be one of the streamers, but more so as a necessity. Because otherwise, I wouldn't even bother with streaming, because trust me, I wish I am a lot more entertaining, but I am not. think it's fine to have two types of pen, but one is maybe 80% opacity, since sometimes it's nice, you know, to not have too solid of a outline, especially if you plan to later blend the outline into the color layer. If you separated them beforehand. For now, I'm just gonna have to keep tweaking. Also, if I'm gonna be muted for most of the stream, it's because I don't feel well enough to speak. Even right now, I still feel a bit nauseous, and my stomach is, let's just say, not being kind to me today. Like, I swear to God, I don't know what the hell is happening when all I'm doing is just eating the type of food that I've always been eating. I wonder if I can move the brushes around. I don't think I could. At least not currently. Maybe it depends on how I'm sorting the packs. I think this is seriously a lot simpler than I'm making it out to be. Pretty sure they're just displayed according to the brush packs that I've installed, like in the order of the already installed brushes, the bundles, sorry. Sorry, I was trying to check how my OBS was doing, and I'm having difficulty because my laptop is not on right now. I'm not using it as my secondary monitor, so everything's on one monitor. And right, so instead of being able to continue testing, now I'm being bothered by a mosquito. Today's just great. It's really great. Still couldn't catch it. In my own defense, I guess I'm trying to catch it with one hand, so I have an excuse for not being able to catch the damn thing. Also, apologies if I start burping. God, I can feel my stomach bubbling. Brush smoothing. This feels like a I say this, not your typical settings. Maybe I should check this part instead. This, yeah. So there's a pop-up. I don't know if it'll show up. No, it doesn't show up. So what you're seeing is just a canvas, but what I'm seeing is the pop-up menu for the brush, for this pencil. I'm not sure if I should put too much setting, because to be honest, I don't really fuck around with that. Just in case, you know, fuck things up. I set one thing, I tune one thing just right to my liking, and then I fuck up another setting. If I simply, you know, reset it to default, I'm gonna not do so well trying to do another attempt of setting the same settings or options. I think this one is fine. I don't know about this one. I don't remember why I picked this, because I don't think it works for my style of drawing, to be honest. Like, for example, if I try to the dots, like the dots effect, kind of like a thin line and then like a dot in between the lines. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of the better word, but I couldn't come up with anything, so let's just go with that. The dots in between the line, that kind of effect, to me personally, only works well if you're trying to do textures on kind of like a huge art piece. Or if you want to do one of those art styles. Oh my god, what is it called? Where it's just a bunch of dots. I think this kind of brush works well. But because I do not need this kind of brush, I'm gonna take it off from this tag. Now for the color mixing, let's try this brush. Before we get to mixing, I'm just gonna double check if I would like to believe this brush called the basic 5 brush. I believe, to me, this brush is kind of in between of these two brushes, because one is more precise and thin, the other is no, not precise. Oh my god, a lot more. Oh my god, what is the word? I'm struggling. I forgot what it is, but let's just move on. But my point is, I feel like this brush is more brown, more bulky. I think this works well if I am trying to fill colors quickly. Okay. I think the only thing I dislike about Krita and the Krita brushes is when the preview of the brush looks this big, right? But then when you actually draw and you press on it, you have to press really hard, right? And the problem is that my hand is not on my tablet, my hand is on my keyboard. So if I want to press really hard, I have to hold the tablet with my other hand just to be able to get the actual intended size, and I don't want to press on my tablet too hard. That's my main issue with Krita so far. I'm sure there's a fix to it, but I have not looked for it. But it's fine. We're just trying to do some color mixing with the blenders. So the one with the cotton pad is more of a cotton bud is more of a smudge. I guess it's best for blurring effect. Yeah. And then the good old paper stamp blender. It's kind of like a gradual bleed. I think that one with is achievable already with the brush. So I feel like it's much better to just use the airbrush instead of using another blender for or an already existing effect. And now for the third blender, let's try to recolor the pink. I think this is actually one of my favorite blenders. It feels similar to the gouache blender in Clip Studio Paint. Like, it actually blends. It also kinda have this smudge, a bit of a smudge effect, but it's not too blurry, so you can still have some texture feel to it. It's great. I think I'm gonna double check the pencil thing. Or maybe I can, you know, do another drawing. What else should I draw? I'm trying to find objects around me to draw. I guess I'm gonna pick mosquito is back for round 2, and here I am just trying to test my brushes. I actually thought of doing some test stream too for at least random 2. I was thinking of testing different games, but then I remembered that the account that I have is a new account, so there will be no save files, so I can't just jump into a game and do some random tests and do some random runs in the game. It turns out that it is a well-known issue to people who stream games, which I don't either. I'm neither a streamer nor was I someone who actually streamed games in the past. So turns out my issue with the game and why it was lagging is just due to the fact that the CPU affinity thing. So turns out that it's a pretty intense task for the CPU to handle. Pun intended. The intense task, sorry. It takes a lot for the CPU if you were letting every single software has the same amount of cores. Sorry, I'm still distracted by the mosquito. So it's still a rather heavy task for the CPU to handle if the softwares are handled by all the CPU cores. And I looked up how to solve that issue, and they say while explaining the exact explanation that I just gave, that it was caused by the overloading of the CPU cores. So they said to make sure to separate the different cores, right? So for example, if you are trying to do that with the game you're playing and OBS, you're supposed to set affinity through task manager and select a few of the CPU cores for OBS, and then for the game you do the same, but don't make sure the CPU cores don't overlap in your selection. So if you're gonna pick 1 to 5 for your OBS, and then you pick the rest, like 6 to however many, 11 for minus 11 for the games, for the OBS, whichever it is. I think I straight up immediately forgot what I just said, sorry. So my point is that 1 to 5 for OBS and 6 to 11 for your games. It's not 1, sorry, 0 to 5. It starts from 0, so yeah. The thing that maybe my only complaint is the fact that I have never seen any content creator that I follow had this kind of issues. At least I've personally never heard it. Okay, I'm gonna remove this as well. So it was a surprise to me that turns out that that's a well-known issue. But again, in my defense, it's a well-known issue to people who stream games, and I was not you know, streamer in general, let alone a let's player or a gaming streamer. Now I also found this is just another reality for a lot of Windows user, but turns out, again, I'm gonna use the word turns out a lot tonight. Turns out Windows 11 does not save the settings for your affinity, CPU affinity. So I ended up looking up if there's any software, like open source program, that helps with setting up the affinity tool, and there is. I'm trying to remember who made it. Anton something. For fuck's sake, I cannot remember. Maybe I can just, you know, try looking at their info. His GitHub username. Hold on. I'm gonna go AFK for a bit. It's really helpful tool since Windows success. I mean, they've been sucking us since 2013 or earlier. Pre-Windows 8, they were great, and then after Windows 8, they started to decline. Hold on. CPU affinity, midday sun or midday sun. I would guess midday sun. So he's the creator of this CPU affinity tool that helps you set and retain the settings, I would say. The Windows, of course, still does not save the settings, so you still have to run this program first before you try to do game streams. But I believe that this is much better than having to open Task Manager every single time and go through each program that's running. At least the program that matters to you that's running, and then set the affinity that way. So this guy is a godsend. It's very helpful. So that's one problem solved, right? But even after setting up and preparing, I still have not do testing, so do a proper, I guess, quote unquote proper as someone as scuffed as me could you know, be proper. I still have to do another stream another time, either that or I'll try to do like one of those private streams where it's just me and myself, and see if it works. Alright, so speaking of technical issues, I just remembered this. I've been wanting to do like at least a post or a just a quick like info through whether YouTube Shorts or on my timelapse video, but I just keep forgetting. Now I remember, so I'm just gonna say on stream. If you have an if you have an ArtStation account and you regularly post there, and you seem to constantly receive a bunch of those quote-unquote proposition, like people who call themselves an NFT collector, and they say that they want to buy some artwork from you, and they'll pay like a hefty sum of money for said artwork. It's because you have your email open and available on ArtStation, so people can just click on the reveal the email and they can try to scam you that way and try to do the NFT phishing. So the best way you can, avoid that, or just you can tell them to fuck off, but I would advise you just do this very simple thing of taking your email off. So you can just go to your profile, or at least hold on, let me check for a second. At least you usually can just go to either account or profile, and there is a section specifically for you to put in your email, and you just make sure you leave that blank. If you have your email up before, Control-Alt-Delete and then save, because otherwise people can just keep bothering you. Even if you still have people harassing you, at least it's delegated to only follows, right? These people just follow your account, and you can see they call themselves art collector or NFT collector. You can safely block them. Right, so I have my ArtStation page open, so I have to check. You have to click on your avatar, go to settings, and then go to social. If you have your quote-unquote public email on, make sure you take it off. Just hit the X button, Control and then delete, and then save. Just do not put your email up on your ArtStation profile. It's already annoying pre-Gen AI that people were already phishing through artists, scamming artists, and now with Gen AI they still won't leave people alone. Or maybe they have, since I have not been bothered by any of these fuckheads for a while now, for a long time. I believe they have moved on to a new scam, and they have start their own with Gen AI. I see that often as well on threads. I guess you can say the same with artists, but I do notice that the AI bros a lot of the time are honestly very hilariously contradictory, and by that I mean they want to act like, oh, you don't know anything about AI, you should shut the fuck up and stop acting like you know how it works. But then the next instance you see anything, you hear about anything from AI bros, is them playing the victim after getting made fun of for their usual quote-unquote their AI quote-unquote art. So it's like there's this duality of AI bros acting superior towards artists, but then the next they'll cry victim about how people are hateful towards them. I mean, who wouldn't, right? Who wouldn't? Especially when you are in their face, constantly like shitting on people who are worried about Gen AI. Like, I don't know. It's one thing to be nuanced about a lot of things, including this Gen AI thing, but it's another to try and defend unethical AI usage by acting like it's your family that's been shot by artists, right? You're not personally affected by it. I don't know why you're so vehement with protecting or defending these obvious like unethical practices. Unless you are out there doing that unethical practices, you shouldn't be this upset. It's like they're very prideful, but also very prone to playing the victim card. I don't know what kind of word describes them best. I do have to say that a lot of issues that are amplified by Gen AI is again amplified, but they have existed long before Gen AI was released into the cesspool that is the internet. Like the plagiarism, blatant copying, the AI tracing thing is that's a long ass topic. But also the very, very annoying art fixes. Like, oh, I fix your art for you, and turns out they fed it into their favorite, LLM, and then it came out looking very generic and not special at all. The point of a lot of these like drawings, they may look a bit scuffed, they may not look the most anatomically correct drawings, but it's them, it's their own thing, right? It's their own identity. They look unique, they look like they have a lot of effort put into it, at least love into it, even if you don't think that the effort is that impressive. So to act like your idea of a good art is absolute, and then trying to do one of those like, oh, I fix your art for you, when no one asked you to, yeah, you're gonna get shit on. I don't know what else you expect. The actual artists that used to do that, like there was a degenerate artist that, of course, use the LGBTQ community as their own identity, which I'm pretty sure they are not an actual ally anyway, but they hide under the LGBTQ flag and community as a shield from criticism. There was an artist, right, on Instagram, not Instagram, on Twitter or X, that had a habit of fixing people's art when people never ask for it, but their problem, or her, I don't recall their pronouns, but to be honest, that person was a scum, so I don't feel like respecting their pronouns. Oh, sorry, not sponsored. I'm gonna have to write out not sponsored. I I just use their product, but I am not sponsored. So these artists, right? They were constantly fixing people's art, as in lightening their skin or fattening the characters or darkening their skins. It's one thing to quote-unquote whitewash a character, like lighten an obviously dark character skin by bleaching them, but it's another thing to constantly quote-unquote fix their art by changing a bunch of shit because you want to be you want to have people pay attention to you. Like, it's a very, very attention-seeking behavior. Not sponsoring. It's not sponsored. Sorry. This is what happens when you try to talk and write and or draw. Right, my mistake. Sorry, not sponsored. Not sponsoring. Where was I? And I believe that person was eventually driven off the internet after, you know, just months, if not years, of constant harassing. And I'm pretty sure the harassment goes both ways. Yeah. So that person was harassing the original artists, and then other people were harassing them. I don't know, it's one thing to be kind of like reimagined, right? You're more than allowed to. There are a lot of art that does that, where the artists do the reimagined gender bend, for example, or the AU alternate universe. That's common. Like, you're more than welcome to do that, but to making, to go ahead and make a character fat and then say, oh, fix it for you. Like, are you actually into body positivity, or do you just have a fat person fetish? There's a line. I don't know. I feel like there's a line. Well, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just quote-unquote fat phobic. Because God forbid I do not support the idea of people eating themselves to death and die at the age of like 30. Just so you know, if you do not know, you will die very, very quickly if you insist on eating like an unholy amount of food and then fighting people over it. Like, oh, you're just fat phobic. No, you can keep eating, but people are just telling you that you are going to get a heart attack any day if you just keep shoving food in your mouth without like any regards on your own health and safety. But I don't know. I personally do not go out of my way to insult anybody that doesn't live quote-unquote normally, I guess. I mean, if you're my friend, I would be worried, but if I don't know you, I would just be I'm not gonna support the group of people who are like, yes, queen, body positivity, because you would not live long to keep hearing that. Where was I? I'm getting distracted. Well, I didn't just get distracted. I was like straight up off the rails. So the issue with art theft, this kind of like very disrespectful shit of like quote unquote fixing stuff, it has always been present since the good old pre-AI time, the glory days. So that kind of like argument the counter argument from AI bros of like, oh, it's already been a problem since before AI, so why is it like, why is it just our fault, right? As in, people can't be mad at two culprits. As if like, if one person robbed my invaded my house and robbed my stuff, and then the next person do the same, but following instructional videos from like the first burglar, right? I'm still gonna be mad at both of you. I'm not gonna be accepting that kind of disrespect from both another artist or someone who likes Gen AI, and I would like to not be told otherwise. Anyway, sorry. I hate this kind of like sidetrack, this off the rails thoughts. I'm just here to test my brushes because I still feel very uncomfortable with Krita. With Clip Studio Paint, I've tweaked the brushes so many times, so often, and I straight up use like the duplicating feature and just duplicate the tools that I like the most, and I just set 2 different opacities and brush densities for them. So I'm pretty much set for Clip Studio Paint. The Krita, being still unfamiliar with it, I have to sit down like this and just draw whatever, just fuck around and figure out if I'm already comfortable with it and how many tweaks do I have to do to the brushes. So for the next part of drawing, I'm gonna have to, now I have to guess like what brush works well. I believe this might be too bright. Like there's just a solid white, or maybe the color is too white. Sorry, that cannot be blamed on my on the brushes, and more on my decision with the colors that I pick. I think both like this blender, I don't know what the name is, hold on, I'm gonna have to check. Blender textured soft, so the soft blender, and this one from, oh no, I cannot read the I cannot read the name. It's from another artist, Syntetic, the artist that I follow a tutorial from on DeviantArt. It's part of his brush pack. I like this one. Other than the blender, incredible. Oops. I think I just have to later get used to the software in general, because I still use Clip Studio Paint a lot. It also doesn't help that I am trying to open like an art commission and I'm doing it also on Clip Studio Paint. So Krita will be neglected for a while, other than the occasional return to do some character sheets and fan art. But I still want to do the acne fan art. I don't know if it's just me or that name is particularly difficult to pronounce. Mostly difficult for me not to make it sound like acne, so I have to try to overdo the pronunciation, like Agni. Okay, next I'm gonna add just a little details. Ooh, that's too big. I think that's it for the outer shell. This is a Bluetooth earphone case, just so you know. And again, I'm gonna point here, not sponsored. I'm not advertising anything, just so you know. I think I can add an airbrush. Yeah, I wonder if I can also duplicate the brushes here in Krita, so I can make 2 versions of the airbrush. Linear noisy, or maybe I can pick another airbrush from the default brushes. Hold on, since it's nice to be able to have this soft brush effect. Yeah, I use it a lot in Clip Studio Paint, but that makes me worried though. There's just like maybe a week ago I saw the case of you know, one of those AI artists that uses AI image that they, you know, trace over, and one of these scammers, let's just call them scammers, was using airbrush to do one of those like update or proof, quote unquote proof, that it's their own art, but they were doing it in a way where it's like they are dodging the outlines. Like, so for example, this ribbon that I drew, like they were using airbrush to do like this, like they were like dodging the outlines for their dear life. And it turns out that their outline layer is actually a PNG file, which is not normal, let's just say. But it shouldn't even be a problem, actually, if it's PNG, because PNG is usually used for arts, for anything, pictures, drawings that doesn't have a background. So if you just want the like object of the drawing or the picture, you can use PNG, and then the background will be transparent. But it turns out that the whole entire picture is just a merged outline with white background. Hence why the person was using airbrush, trying to dodge the outlines with their dear life. So why it matters to me here is just the fact that I like to use airbrush sometimes when I do like even like the base colors, because I'm trying to not give myself twice the work. Basically, I'm trying not to overdo the colors by painting everything with pen brush or pen tool, and then, you know, use another brush to do the shading or the lighting. Like the airbrush is just to kind of estimate, like I'm guesstimating basically. I'm trying to guess what the lighting is supposed to be, the shading, where it's supposed to be. I don't know, the airbrush is great if you use it in that context. I guess you can disagree, of course. This is how I do it. That's how I use airbrush. Shiz. I use more than one, even though it seems unlikely. I mean, I guess rarely. I rarely use the other type of airbrush, just because I usually only use the noise one when I'm trying to give like a texture feel, or characters, makeup. Yeah, I remember using one of the noise airbrush just to give like a glitter effect on the makeup. It was on my com sample, actually. Okay. Let's see if I can use one of these to do a thin outline. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. So this brush works just well, so I don't need to give myself a headache. I also want to give kind of like a sheen, just slightly, so I'm gonna have to change my brush again. Right, it looks a bit muddy instead, my bad. I guess I can change the hue a little and then make it a little bit lighter. Also, hold on. I just remembered that my background music is pretty loud by default, right? So even with the settings for audio ducking, because I sometimes takes a long ass time to finish my thought, the audio tends to climb back up before I finish talking, so my voice will sometimes be drowned out by the music. I'm trying to bring it down a notch to -8 decibel. Too bad, my dumbass is still like taking ages to finish a goddamn sentence, so I will sometimes drown out my voice. Otherwise, I would prefer people having the ability to listen to some great music and less of me yapping incessantly. And if it's not obvious, my stomach has been feeling a bit better since I started streaming. That's why I can suddenly yap so much, even though before I could barely get a few words out. But right, so now we're back to drawing. I think I'm trying to give like a bit of dynamic colors. I don't have to overdo it, I would say, just because it's supposed to be like just a nice little earbuds case, so I don't have to overdo it. I've seen a lot of very, very beautiful drawings where they layer a lot of like unconventional looking colors, but it's really pretty and it makes the drawing look very much alive. It's almost breathing. But of course, you have to have the eye for that kind of method of rendering, because me personally, I would still make it look a bit too stiff. I don't know if it's the right word, but it feels right to me. Like I would make the color not as impressive, not as alive. And maybe because also I'm so used to the idea of, oh, I need to make the colors look realistic. And to make the colors realistic with your adult eyes, everything is duller. Like as you grow older, I'm sure anybody has heard of this, but apparently as you grow older, the amount of colors you can see actually reduces, like at least like the saturation lowers. That you can see something to be very, very red when you were a child, like a red apple, like, for example. When you grow up, it looks just, you know, not as red. Like either it's dark red or it's just it looks like it's dying. It looks like we're dying. Maybe both. But it's not as vibrant as it used to look. And I think even when I was younger, the need to make everything looks realistic kind of gets compounded with the reality of being an adult and not being able to see colors in a big higher saturation, and it ends up with like a lot of my drawings looking dull. I mean, the lack of skills is also a factor. It's like just like a compounding a stack of reasons, I would say. I think the blue here might have been a bit overdone. Like it should still be just a small tinge of blue, but mostly still purple. I don't know if it makes sense. I think so far the brushes aren't that much pain in the ass to set. They honestly it's pretty, you know, straightforward. Oh yeah, and this is less serious and has nothing to do with art, but a little bit to do with art. But I was like complaining the other day when I was doing like solo stream that I'm not complaining, but more so like I'm confused as to why my social media algorithm has devolved into like the simping ground for Leon. And my friend is not helping. Literally sent me a footage of modded gameplay of Leon riding a bicycle instead of the bike for that one scene, and he's just it was chaotic and frankly destroyed my algorithm a bit further. But I guess it's not that bad when the one posting like the content about Leon is from another content creator called Stormfall, I believe. Stormfall. And she's the one that does gaming videos while cosplaying one of the characters. And she just does dress up in general, and she has a lot of videos about Leon, and it's really funny. Especially the one where she's like, oh, I didn't mod Resident Evil at all. Like, it doesn't matter which version, as long as it has Leon in it, it's 100% modded. So I also have been like getting quite a lot of content from her, which I'm not complaining. It's just the random search of non-Stonefall content about Leon that's like worrying me. It's like, what is the algorithm trying to tell me? Like, hello? I don't know what's happening. Some of the clips that I've seen of Leon is genuinely actually funny, and it's just from the gameplay and his like little smart snarky smart ass responses, one-liners. That is actually hilarious, that I won't deny. It's just the, you know, one of those like edits, you know, to make Leon look like a Chad because he's older, you know. My friend I think my friend like her a lot, even a lot now, because, you know, he's older, so I can make jokes about Leon being a daddy now because he's much older. It has been quite the entertaining month. Now I'm overdoing the reflection. Now I have to fix it. Oops. I'm gonna fix it with the airbrush. Let's reduce the reflection here. Okay, then use the lighter one. Speaking of video games though, I believe the new game High Guard is not doing so well. I believe it may have been close by now, but I do not remember seeing the date for the game closing. I just remember the game not doing so hot the last time I saw it. But then again, with how the game industry has been going for you know, just this past 5 years, it's been, let's just say the CEOs have been very, very ballsy, very brazen with their greed. I don't know why people can't just, you know, this goddamn CEO can just let the publishing company or the just any companies that have, you know, has to do with games, the developer studios and whatnot. I don't know why these people is so incapable. These people are so incapable of just making the damn game instead of thinking about like, oops, the record-breaking sales. And obviously, the indie games and the developers aren't exactly perfect either. But my god, the corporations of the gaming industry are just pissing me off every single day. They unoptimized, you know, compressed, I'd say. Unoptimized, uncompressed, untested, unpolished in general. Like, tell me you don't care about the gaming community without telling me. And I believe the same was for the what studio again? Larian Studios. I forgot if it was like the head of it, right? The head of the studios. were yapping about using AI as placeholder, and man, people weren't happy, and rightfully so, to be honest. There's no need to bring that up. It doesn't cost you money not to give an opinion about that, but you still did. I'm gonna have to look it up, like who exactly talk about the AI placement, AI placeholder. Sorry. Hold on, let me just AFK for a little bit. Then let me look up the T. It's stealthy at this point. Look it up now. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's Larian Studio. It's again the CEO, Sven Vink, or whatever the fuck the name is, in late 2025. Quote-unquote explore ideas, expand on internal presentations, develops concept art, and write placeholder text. Again, the CEO being behind the mess, as usual. I don't know what's wrong with these motherfuckers, and I mean, I know what's wrong with them. They want money, but can they like make the money in their own little bubble and, you know, just leave artists alone, leave gamers alone, instead of constantly targeting us? Even, oh my god, even the Mobile Legends anniversary cinematics, but that's more of a AI bros being dumb as fuck as usual, instead of, you know, the CEOs. At this point, we're not surprised, but it kind of highlighted my point, like my opinion about AI bros, when they were constantly praising about how good already the AI is. But at the same time, you could obviously see the art style, like the characters keep changing from, you know, either one race or another, or just be a completely different character, like, or just a random person. Like, it's not even a Mobile Legends character anymore. But the AI bros were like, oh, it's so good already, it's so good. The AI is obviously improved, blah blah blah. And even the anniversary text was fucked in the background, right? But it feels like coping. It's like if my child took a test, right, and they got like 40, and I'm like, it's pretty good already, it's pretty good. And the kid never bother studied, never bother listen to the teacher's instruction on what is gonna show up on the test. That motherfucker just read the entirely wrong section of the book. And motherfucker got the score 40 mostly just from guessing. And me being delusional, being like, oh yeah, you did pretty well. Now I'll be pissed. You can't keep praising subpar quality, guys. Come on. No one's asking you to constantly use Hollywood quality as standard. Even the Hollywood quality has dipped, let's be honest. But my point is that, you know, have some standards instead of constantly praising everything. It's generally the same principle for me with like other artists. I'm not gonna praise everyone as having like great art. I will praise you for, you know, being incredible with your effort, with like your willingness to learn. That's praiseworthy. But I'm not gonna pretend like someone with little to no art experience to be like an actual like prodigy or something. That ain't happen. That would be me straight up lying out of my teeth. I'm just gonna try to sketch, you know. See if which brush is perfect for the sketching. I think I've always liked sketching with pencil in real life, doing pencil drawings, because most of the time, you know, the pencil that you use, which is like the 2B thickness, it's really nice for like some very, very light, very thin lines that you can later thicken. It feels airy. That's my point. It feels light and airy, which is nice because you have full control of the sensitivity, right? Like with the pressure. As long as you know to control the strength you put against the paper, you can be precise with the thickness of the pencil or the strokes. I'm gonna try to use another pencil. The bangs work here. Yeah, another thing with like not lying to please another artist is also the like opposite. Like I'm not gonna randomly pick a fight with other artists as well, because like based on my personal experience, right, not with my friend, honestly. Any arguments with my friend is usually not that big of the deal at the end of the day. But more so, I would like to give an example of another artist being absolute ass, you know, and it comes from my ex. So I guess, oops, I forgot to remove. I still remember when I was told that my art style is not semi-realistic, that it's more cartoon than semi-realistic. And then in the midst of like the arguments, he pulled up like a picture of his friend's drawing and tell me that, oh, now this is semi-realistic art and it's a inked drawing, like a traditional art, right? with pen, and he said, "Oh, this one is the actual semi-realistic painting. Yours is more of a cartoon." And at that moment, I think my brain short-circuited just like right now. Because I could not believe like the audacity to be this loud and this wrong. Just because when I looked at this person's art, his friend's art, it looked like the exact same type of art that I did. Like I don't, at least I don't try to do kind of like anime eyes. Like I try to be realistic with the eye size, the irises, even like the anatomy, right? Even though I'm shit at it, my point is that I don't do exaggerated art. But being told that my art was like a cartoon, more like a cartoon than semi-realistic, it's, let's just say I wanted to strangle someone at that moment. But of course, again, some people cannot accept being wrong, so the dude just doubled down. Hence why he's my ex. Motherfucker can't differentiate between what cartoons and semi-realistic is, and has the audacity to tell me what my art style was. And if I'm being honest, right, a lot of cartoons, at least old school cartoons, do look realistic. Like their proportions were realistic. Just look at the DC animations, like the DC cartoons, even the Marvel ones, like the Spider-Man, the Batman cartoons. The proportion was realistic. They were just, considered cartoons due to the simpler color schemes. I mean, the simple rendering, because and you can't do full rendering with animations. The animators are going to die. You can't do that. But my point is that it's more of like a gray area anyway. Because I believe, at least in a lot of people's minds, when they compare like the two between like cartoons and semi-realistic, it's not just the anatomy but also like the colorings. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. And that's the thing. I do not know. What I know is my art has always been recognized as. Oops, I didn't take off the AFK. It has always been recognized as like semi-realistic, and then just to have this one guy have the audacity to not just be wrong but also be loud, and then end the argument with like, okay, you win. Let's just move on. Just the stereotypical like, oh, you women are incapable of being wrong, when I'm not wrong. It's not a matter of not wanting to be accepting that I'm wrong, but it's more of like I'm actually not in the wrong. There's like a massive difference there, but yeah, that's why he's in the past and in the trash. Even so, that's why I say that even like all the arguments that I've had with my friend, like with this friend of mine, Forrest, still at the end of the day, we still end up like learning a thing or two about each other, and like if we were misunderstanding, we clear up said misunderstanding. Like we don't just go like, okay, whatever, we move on. and then nothing gets solved. Like, I don't know, I don't like to move like that. They just do the very passive aggressive, like, oh, whatever, you win. And yeah, that ex of mine is supposed to be an artist as well, but I'm not even gonna bother commenting about his art skills. I'm not interested. But I'll just always mention the fact that I am not in the wrong for believing my own art style is that of a semi-realistic art. I'm gonna change my brush again. Oh, I turned on the eraser. My bad. No wonder I was like confused. There's nothing coming out. There's no colors. If I'm gonna do the hand like this, sorry, go back to the light pencil. Oh, I can't do the hand like that. My bad. Right, so again, right? Shit, anatomy skills. But I'm trying. I am trying. I think I can switch to the arm instead, because I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the left hand. So I'm gonna... I should be doing this instead. Still another mosquito bothering me, but I'm just gonna focus on the drawing the body first. Alright, so now I noticed that my mistake is, I'm pretty sure I changed the brush a bit too often, so I lost track of which brush I was using. But I believe the pressure is usually just caused by my hand and how hard I press my stylus. But it's nice that this brush is actually nice for outlining. I find like they have an insane amount of brushes, blenders, pen to go through, so you can experiment a lot. But I realized that when it comes to this kind of softwares, I find myself trying to emulate like actual feel of a pencil and colored pencils. I expect the strokes coming out of my stylus to be that of my 2B pencil. I should probably start drawing traditionally again. This is what happens when you stop doing something for too long and I miss it. I do wonder if I could, speaking of traditionally, find a time to finish my coloring, my very old coloring book. I bought it when I was in high school, and I believe I've only worked up to half of the entire book, so there's at least another half of the book to go, which I need to genuinely need to finish someday. And I wonder if I could stream them. Instead of like the usual traditional, the usual digital art that I do, I could stream myself coloring the book instead. I'm gonna have to use the light pencil again just to make sure the anatomy does not look too comical. I think I want her to be, I guess, sitting, because crouching would be weird. Would it be weird? I don't know if it's gonna be weird. It would not look as bad if she was sitting. Yeah, the hunching makes it looks weird. This genuinely looks just like one of my usual like pencil drawings on my sketchbook. Like I would just randomly draw like this with no rhyme or reason. It would just look like this. Like who knows how correct the anatomy is. All I know is like doing this pencil strokes, like the pencil shadings. Jesus, it generally looks a lot like my usual drawing. Oh my god. I am quite confused on what kind of like pose I should end it on. Yeah, would it be better if like I do crouching or sitting? If I do her sitting, I might need to move the right arm a bit higher, sorry, what you're hearing right now is my brain struggling with decision and anatomy in general. So yeah, this is all this stream is going to be. I mean, I'm not gonna stream for longer tonight, as in I'm gonna end it soon, as long I can finish with getting the pose that I want, then I can end the stream. Imagine I end up spending like the entire evening basically. Never mind. I'm not gonna finish the thought because I'm too busy thinking about like the pose. Like there are several poses that flashes there's flash through my mind, but I just can't land on a single pose. Like it just keeps moving. Like all the different options, they just keep moving, so I cannot decide it. It's like a fucking roulette wheel, but it's spinning at full speed at all times. Like, God help me. If you're real, please help me. Yeah, hit the stop button or something. Wear high waist skirt, so at least that is one dilemma down. And this is the part that doesn't need very careful consideration. But this part again, the fuck do I do with it? Maybe I can just do this, like the legs crossing pose. Oh yeah, my God, I it keeps slipping in and out of my mind. The YouTube Shorts poses that I can also turn into full illustration. Maybe every time I try to stream, I can also like just have these like large sticky notes in my face so I can remember. Because if I didn't decide to do some brush calibrating, I would be confused as to what I want to draw. Again, even though I have I've basically laid out a bunch of choices for myself, but then I end up forgetting it again. As usual, I don't know why I keep doing this. It's like nothing changed. Right, I think this pose works. mosquitoes. Ooh. That's what happens when you live in this kind of country. I'm sure a lot of countries also have mosquitoes, but I don't know if it's just the city that I live in. Like, there's been more and more dust gathering a lot quicker each year. There are constant streams of, like, not just mosquitoes but also fruit flies, and then I have my cat Flame looking at me like I'm crazy for trying to, you know, wipe my own blood off my toe after stepping on a mosquito. Jesus. Yeah, so there's just a tiny splotch of blood on my toe because I stepped on the apparently not dead mosquito. For fuck's sake. Did I say splotch of blood or splotch of mosquito? It doesn't matter. It had both. So yeah. Get back to my chair now. Again, my cat is staring at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, so where was I? I'm gonna go back to... Oops. Alright. Now I need to pick this one. I ended up making her sitting down instead of crouching. Oh, oops. Not the magic one. Not the magic one. No, this is not the same as my pencil drawing. I mean, I wish it is the same, but my dumbass bought quite a good amount of, like, one of those pencil stumps and pencil and one of those blenders, but I have not used it. Even the kneadable erasers, clay erasers, I believe. And I have not tried any of them because I have not picked up the pencil to draw. I've just been picking up a stylus to draw. God, maybe that insult towards AI bros apply more to me because I have not picked up a pencil in a while. A lot of a lot of ideas, but I just can't make the decision on what I wanna do, especially when it comes to streaming. Because truth be told, I prefer converting them into content, like into a VOD, like a proper video with proper editing, instead of like yapping my ass off on a stream with awful audio ducking and my inability to speak properly. And if I'm being doubly honest, my stream is mostly just for, you know, exposure. Because everyone is fighting to be noticed by the algorithm, right? And me wanting to open my own art commissions means that I also have to fight for the algorithm's attention, even though I don't like it. But I don't know, maybe once I've opened my commission, I can just go back to fully doing videos again instead of streaming. I don't think I'm entertaining enough. Not even skilled enough. Or maybe if I keep streaming, I could also do one of those streams where I try to find a subject to draw, an object to draw, and or you know, one of those studying the masters, like copying the masters, and then I'm gonna do nothing that even resembles copying the masters. I'm just gonna be doing my own thing, and I'll explain it. I really like the idea of like picking a subject and then drawing, and if another artist sees this and it's their free time, maybe they can join in. Like I like that kind of idea, similar to the magma jam that me and my friend did. It's actually really fun. Like everyone comes up with their idea and just draw. Like interpret an idea or a topic and then you make your own version. It's really fun. But I guess because, you know, everyone is trying to grow their accounts and look for followers, much less than trying to build a community and have like a gathering of artists, it would be difficult for me to actually gather a bunch of artists. Because I mean, I could host this kind of stuff myself like very often, but do people want to join? You know, are people actually interested in that kind of things? Because I would love to. And just draw with a bunch of artists with different ideas. I still really want to open the community post feature so people can also stop by and leave their art, but I want it to be I only want to open it at certain times, right? So if I have a topic or something that I want other artists to also participate in it, I will open it, and then when nothing happens, I'm gonna close it. So this is my Krita test. not Krita test, my I'm gonna make it more official, my brush calibration test. Even though it's just me fucking around with a bunch of brushes and try to decide which one can be used, which one goes, which one is not used. Where does the foot point towards? It's usually still a bit to the front, I would say. Yeah? I'm confusing myself. Bit of my adjustment and then I should be done. Sorry, I have a video playing in the background. And the person in said video said dumb fuck McGee, and maybe randomly exhale with laughter. Is that a thing? Exhale with laughter? It's gonna be a thing now. Oops. Thing. I think it looks fine. It's just a sketch, you know. I can't. I gotta stop. I'm zooming, trying to fix it again. I just can't help it. Oops. which is actually great for monochromatic drawings. So even just that one brush, if you are trying to do one of those like value study, this is great. The brush pack from Syntetic, but it's just this one brush. I can't advocate for the other brushes, but it's, to me, it's great, you know. Kind of have that smudge quality, but you can still see the pretty big discrepancy. The color difference is still there, so it's not an obvious just smudge or blur tool, aka an actual brush. A nice and smooth brush. What the hell happened? Okay, my apologies. I may or may not have accidentally hit open what is called open the note app. Sorry, I accidentally opened the note app. I think that's it for tonight's calibration test. There's really nothing to calibrate, it's just setting the brushes. But I like to be fancy, you know. And my stomach does actually feel much better now. At least I don't feel the very uncomfortable, that very uncomfortable stomach pain. No, it's not just the usual stomach ache. I mean, people say stomach ache when they want to go number 2, you know, but yeah, the ache that I'm talking about, the aching is just too intense compared to the usual pain. Like the pain is gone now. I guess that, you know, rather than constantly confusing myself, I would just say the pain is equivalent to having someone stab your stomach. How about that? There should be an easier explanation than just constantly saying like, oh, stomach ache, but it's a different kind of pain. But I might as well just say that it feels like someone stabbing my stomach, like my actual stomach. Not, oops, my not sponsored drawing. Very proud. I mean the not sponsored part that I'm proud of. But I believe that's it. It's 10:39 p.m. and my stomach is feeling better, but I'm starting to feel a headache again coming in. So I think I have to go. But I appreciate the people that stopped by the stream. I think I'm gonna stream again later. Not later, I mean on Friday. Same time with my friend, hopefully. Hopefully I'm not abandoned again. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching and I will see you on Friday. Goodbye.